Welcome to the PR Maven podcast, a podcast all about growing your network and building your brand through traditional and digital networking techniques. I'm Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven and CEO of Marshall Communications. I've been strengthening brands through PR for over 35 years, and now I'm celebrating the success of executives, influencers, business owners, and entrepreneurs from all around the world, all of whom have cultivated their brands and broadened their networks through traditional and digital networking methods. Each week, I interview one of these interesting and influential individuals and provide an opportunity for you, the PR Maven Nation, to gain insights from their strategies and stories. So stay tuned for this week's episode, and thanks for listening. I'm Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven. I have been working in public relations throughout my long career, and I have a special interest in personal branding. It's what makes you stand out from others who do the same thing you do, and it attracts people who need what you have to offer. I'm a keynote speaker, an author, and a columnist for the Forbes Agency Council and Main Biz. My audiences have said that helping them think about their superpower has changed the way they think about their careers and their lives. I hope you like this episode, and I hope you'll share it with other people who might be interested in hearing it. With me today is this week's guest, Koty Potts, Digital Manager at PR Marketing. Welcome to the PR Maven podcast, Koty.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Koty Potts is the Digital Manager at PR Marketing. He started at ER as an SEO specialist, but over time he took on more responsibilities, mainly in the web development area. He quickly learned that knowing both SEO and web development is a powerful combination. As his skills in the digital space grew, his role changed to digital manager. In this position, Koty focuses on SEO, web development, reporting and analytics, strategy, and more. Outside of his full-time job, Koty is a freelance filmmaker and photographer, as well as a musician. He has been a creator for most of his life, which is the reason he clicks so well with SEO and content marketing. Koty is also very curious, which is one of the traits that I really admire about him. If there's something he does not know, he will not rest until he has learned it and internalized it. So that's awesome, Koty. So Koty, in your position at ER Marketing, you have developed a method of optimizing blog posts for search. This is something that will be useful for PR practitioners to learn because it makes your content stand out online and helps you with content marketing and thought leadership. Can you describe what you do in detail?
Yeah. So something that I've always said is that SEO, modern SEO, is interchangeable with organic content marketing. And the idea behind that is basically no matter how the different technologies and innovations that come out and Google and all these different search engines and how it's changing every day, the one thing that will always remain the same is that there will always be people who are wanting to find information they care about online quickly and easily and effectively. So it's thinking about blogging specifically is kind of like the long-term work when it comes to SEO. Short-term being, when I say SEO, it's what you're thinking of. Page optimizations, keyword research, technical health of your website. That's the short-term. The long-term, where the real value comes in, is from your blogging. And one thing that I really, really, really love about SEO, organic content marketing, and blogging and websites is that when you publish something on the internet on your website, that is your content that you own. So you are free to do whatever you want with it. And and I'm not bashing on social media, but because they both have their benefits and disadvantages. But when it comes to things like social media, when you post something, that's it. You can't really do much with it afterwards. The platform.
Well, right. And like if you post on Facebook or Instagram, that's owned by Meta, not by you. So like they can just either take it down or Yeah,
Exactly.
you don't have control over it, right?
Exactly. And they serve two different purposes. So it's still do social media. Social media, of course. But the thing about it is that you post something, and then after a couple of days, it's obsolete in the algorithm. What I love so much about blogging is that a blog post is just a web page on your website. That's all it is. Um, and when you publish a page and when you publish a new post, a new blog post, that is a new link that Google has never seen before and it's not familiar with. And so when you post something new, you have to get it submitted to Google has to crawl it, index it, assign it keyword rankings. It's got to gain authority over time, yada, yada, yada. It takes time to get that done. And that's great. But we've found it at ER, I found that by far the most effective SEO strategy for any of our clients. And anytime we are looking at like a new client and prospecting, and I find their website, they've got hundreds of old blogs. I'm like, this is a gold mine, and that is because you can take a blog post that is 10 years old and update it with new information for 2024 or whatever. Just kind of make sure it's all updated and update the publication date for it because that is meta information on the background. It literally says what day it was published or modified. You can update that and then resubmit it to Google. And Google will basically treat it like it's been updated. So it's gonna boost it a little bit higher up in the search results. It's gonna make it more relevant. Um, and because it's old, it's been marinating. That's what I say in search results for a long time. So Google's already familiar with it. So for example, you take a blog post that's a 2015 guide to social media. 2015, 9 years ago, a bit different than it is today. So you can take that and literally rewrite that same blog post for and say 2024 guide to social media, and it has new information in it because it's topical and relevant. Google will see that and put it back up in its rankings, and it will allow it to rank more. So it is doing, and we call that process blog optimizations. Um, and doing that, going through and adding stuff to your blog and updating it, adding new links to it, has been an extremely cost effective way to crank out lots of content. And we've seen massive growth on our client websites from doing that. By far the most effective strategy.
Yes, and you're in the building products industry at ER Marketing, and you have actually seen increases in sales, dramatic increases in sales of the products that your blogs are about. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah. So we give you an example without naming them. We do a bunch of we run the websites and do SEO for a bunch of businesses who sell garage doors and installation or anything garage doors. And we started doing it for one of them. And it's the case studies on our website, ermarketing.net. And we saw, I believe it was about a 700% increase in website traffic. Um,
700%.
yeah. And that's not going from 10 visits to 70 visits. It's thousands to tens of thousands. Um, so, and it's all just from literally just taking all their old content because I mean, to give you a more specific example, like of that same client, when I started ER, we had written basically everything you can think of for blogs on that client. Like we were really, really digging, scratching at the bottom of the barrel. And that's when I had the idea, well, what if we treated these like SEO page optimizations, just optimize these blogs? And that's where that whole thing started. So we just kind of went back in time, took all their older posts and just started updating for new content, links, pictures, valuable stuff, doing that over time. And their rankings skyrocketed. And as a result, they got way more website traffic. So then we started doing that for all of our other clients that have lots of blog posts. And it's if like I said, if we ever see a client, we're looking at a new website and we find someone who has, a bunch of old blog posts, it is a gold mine.
So this is applicable to public relations and
Yeah.
media
Oh,
relations because if a journalist is going to be writing an article about you or your company or your product and they search, it's likely that these blog posts will come up in a Google search by a journalist. So they'll get information that is
and
relevant and that you've
yep.
created yourself.
Yeah. I mean, to give you an example, ER marketing ourselves. So it's been around for 20 something years. Um, Over the last 20 years, we have gathered almost 1,000 blog posts. So now once a day, I go through and optimize a blog post. And that's just what we do. We're doing it every day. And so to people in Google, if you go onto the blog, it looks like we're publishing great content every day, and we are, but it looks like it's like new stuff, but in reality, it's stuff that we've just updated that's been around forever. And what I'm saying is, this is not some like, here's a trick to, this is how you cheat SEO and this is how you trick search and Google. This is a very common thing. I'm not saying anything that's like
It's not black
crazy,
hat.
extreme. No, it's not. It's ethical. Google's very much about it, because at the end of the day, all they care about is it topical and is it helpful. That's it.
So,
So
Koty, can you share your screen
yeah,
and show us now? He's Koty's going to share a screen and show us a blog post so we can see how he adds like a table of contents and frequently asked questions
yep.
and other features.
And this is kind of where it gets helpful about like how, me knowing a little bit of web development. It's more, it's not that I don't, so this is what I say. It's like, it's not that I'm a web developer, I'm a WordPress developer. So I've learned WordPress like the back of my hand. And so what I'm kind of wanting to get across here is, when I say optimizing your blogs, yes, the content itself, all this copy down here, the pictures and the links and everything, that's what we care about. But that's only half the story. The actual the actual design of your blog post template is so important. So anytime we're doing an optimization for a client's blog, we also look at the actual layout and design of their blog as well. And we add these different features and everything to it. So what you're looking at here, this is a blog that I did a couple days ago for ER. And these sidebars and this design of it, this is dynamically, automatically created for all blog posts. Because, like I said, I think I just clicked away on accident. 1 second. Um, and It's dynamically created. I don't have to go through and add this every time I do a blog post. That's not feasible. So, like I said, what we've done is and basically all of our clients have a similar layout like this. What we've done is we've gone through and optimized the blog post template as well. And it's made up of a bunch of different components that have a specific feature and purpose. So, like in this article, this table of contents, this is an automatically generated table of contents that is a ranking factor. Having a table of contents is definitely a ranking factor, and it also improves usability. I, the user, can go on here and quickly see what this is about. What can I expect to find, rather than me have to like scroll down and hopefully I find what I'm looking for. And what's great about this is, like I said, it's automatically generated. I set this up to where this top one takes the H1 of the page, and then under it, it puts all the H2s, and it automatically generates anchor links inside of it. So if I click like way one right here, it will automatically snap down right there. So it's all about improving usability, making it easy to navigate. Um, and then the other one that we do, so this table of contents, that's what we do for all of them. And the other one we do for all of them is a recent post. So what this is, it's a module that just shows the 3 most recent blog posts. So what this does is, it basically, to the human, it shows, hey, we're posting every day, we're active, we know what we're talking about, here's some more stuff, and it encourages engagement. And for Google, that kind of engagement is a ranking factor. So it's encouraging people to interact with your website. And then another more technical thing is, when you have this kind of thing up here with the 3 recent links, what this does, it basically always ensures that every blog post has at least 3 internal links on it at all times. So it improves the internal linking of your website, so it's more cohesive, easier to navigate. Google can crawl stuff faster. So that's a big one. And then typically we'll do, like, so for us specifically at ER, we have a bunch of stuff. So we do like white papers. We've got a printed magazine we do. So I've got some CTAs here, a contact form, a regular CTA about us, another CTA. So we always, design these to also have CTAs that help the client. One thing I always say, when it comes to blogging, do not treat it like an ad. People do not want to go on to read a blog post to be sold about your business. That's why I typically say, well, you want to keep stuff non-branded and keep it helpful. So therefore, the branded section, how you can plug your business and your website, is using the sidebars and the CTAs. But yeah, another thing that we do, this is kind of like an extra thing, but we do it for all of our clients who do blogs. So this is the featured image. Anyone who uses WordPress, they know what that is. We have designed our featured image. We actually had our graphic designer, Maggie Hager. She designed a template in Photoshop that you can drop a picture in, put the name of the blog post, and then create this. And this is a static image. And what this does is a couple things. it instantly shows it's branded and it looks like ER marketing. It creates that brand identity, and rule of seven, people get exposed to your brand more often. And what the other cool thing about this is that it allows us to put in these CTAs. So I do this for every single blog post, every optimization. Again, it's all about internal linking, getting people to realize, hey, we've got lots of content. We're a thought leadership. We're an authority on what we're talking about. So what we'll do is I'll take that picture and link it inside of the blog post with a link to that related blog post. So all of these things that I've just shown you, and the final thing, sorry, and ERs does it a little differently because we're using Gutenberg WordPress's built-in editor. Here's another CTA. We also do FAQs on every single blog post. What we do is we take the content and condense it into a list of, I usually do about 5 FAQs. And typically, if the website's using like a more advanced page builder, this is actually like an accordion that you can click and interact with. But this is actually a module that has built-in schema markup on the back end. So it is literally saying, hey, Google, here's a question. Here's the answer to that question. And when you do this, that allows the page to qualify for FAQs and Google search results. So it makes it much more authoritative and helpful. And it also improves the chances of you appearing in People Also Ask, which is that you've seen it. It's that section of Google that has like questions that people usually will search related to your search query. So this is something that we do for every single blog post. Every single blog you will ever see done by EO marketing has an FAQ section on the bottom. And all of that starts with content that was written 10 years ago. And then we'll just update it with new content, link to better stuff, make sure the dates are correct. And then we'll just add all the stuff to it and instantly makes it more authoritative.
That's remarkable. So, Koty, we're going to take a short break, but we're going to come back and talk more about repurposing older blog posts and about the value of adding new content every week or every day.
Yep.
So we'll be back with more from Koty Potts. But first, you can get a free chapter of my book by visiting prmaven.com/giveaway. And we'll be back with more from Koty Potts in just a moment.
Sprague & Curtis is a locally owned real estate company. We're primarily focused in central Maine. I got excited about Nancy's book because she's so well known in the area for her marketing and branding techniques, and we're always looking to expand and learn and grow. And so a lot of us here at the office decided that we wanted to read her book and learn some new techniques.
It benefits Sprague & Curtis to have a large brand and audience because there can often be multiple years between transactions with clients, so it's important to network with them and stay in touch with them in those in-between periods. And this book really helped us learn some techniques and methods to continue to do that. We organized a small book group with Nancy's book with brokers in our office this winter to share information and remind ourselves how important it is to always be working on our network and continually reaching out to our customers.
Platforms like social media are important in expanding your business, but equally as important are handwritten notes, cards, letters. She inspired me to send her a note of appreciation, just thanking her for the book and her insight. In reading Nancy's book, I was excited to look to continue to grow our brand and our audience. I think she does a great job of motivating us.
Nancy's book really helped me learn a few things in marketing and branding and how important it is to stay on top of reaching out to clients periodically, staying top of mind, providing useful information, and really telling our story as a company.
All right, so welcome back to the PR Maven podcast, and we're here with Koty Potts. And I just want to tell you that Koty has been talking about some things that he's been showing to us. And if you're listening on audio, you can go to our show notes, and there'll be some time codes there, so you can go to the video and see when Koty's explaining what he does when he does his magic on blog posts. But I wanted to ask you, Koty, about the difference between reissuing old blog posts with the updates that you do versus publishing brand new blog posts.
Yeah, there's a number of things. Speaking in terms of business, it's more cost effective because in the world of SEO and content marketing, the whole goal is finding that perfect balance between quantity and quality at the same time. And that's the hardest part. And, in a perfect world, like you have all these huge websites with, $1 million budgets for content. For most websites, it's just not feasible to do a brand new blog post every day or even every week. That can take up a lot of time, get very expensive. So that's one of the main benefits of doing optimizations is if you've got, if you're right now, if you're sitting on, years of blog posts, you basically will never have to do a new blog post for a long time. So it's more cost effective. That's one. That's the biggest one. We're speaking, directly because we work with clients and budgets. When we started doing blog optimizations, the actual amount of content we're able to push out so much higher than doing a brand new blog post. Now, typically we like to do a mixture of both. Sometimes, like if we're doing blog optimizations and we're getting SEO is doing good, then I'm not going to make a fuss if the client wants to post a new blog post about their business themselves, a press release or something like that. So it allows for that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, the main thing about Google is it wants to show you helpful information, and helpful usually means topical. It's recent. So Google doesn't care if it's new or old. If it makes sense for today, if someone reads it right now and it's relevant to today, then it's good. So that's a big one. And when you publish a brand new blog post, especially if you're a smaller website, it typically takes, and I can't give you a solid number because some websites it's a matter of days, other websites it's weeks. When you publish a new page, post, anything, Google has to discover it, crawl it, index it, give it keywords, yada yada yada, and that can take a while, quite a while. Especially, like I said, if you're a brand new website, it can take a long time. So having to do that for every single blog post will mean you're not going to get much traffic for a while. So again, if you've got blog posts that have been around for years and, like I said, marinating, it's much easier to go back and update it. Update the meta information, make sure it says 2024, make sure Twitter says X. That's one that I'm dealing with right now. And re-uploading it, submitting it back to Google, because if you use Google Search Console, you can submit a link to Google and say, hey, this link is updated. Can you come back and re-index it and check it again? And because it's been around for so long and it knows that link and it knows some of the content and what's on it, it's going to index it much faster. And typically it's going to give it better keyword rankings. But the main benefit is cost effective, is doing blog optimizations.
Okay. And should people be posting on their blog every day, every week, every month? How often? What's the best?
So, and there's so many different factors. It depends on, your industry you're in, the competitors are, what are they doing? Your key, kind of like the rule of thumb that I always say is you basically want to always use the skyscraper method. So figure out who your competitors are in Google, those different websites you go against, and one up them. So if they're doing once a month, you need to do twice a month. Yeah, just if you're outpacing your competition, the people you're directly competing with, then you'll come out on top. Now, in a perfect world, I shoot for at least once a week. That's kind of like a realistic thing for most of our clients. But if you're able to get it down to once a day, like we do for ER, then do that. It's really getting as much done as you possibly can. But like I said, start by looking at your competitors, seeing what they're doing, and what you can do is go on a competitor's website and just look at their cadence, and then just one up them, skyscraper method. And then if you want to get really good, I'd shoot for at least once a week, and that can be a blog optimization or a new blog post.
And do you subscribe to they ask you answer, like if you need topics for your blog, you ask your customers, or how do you come up with topics?
So we at ER we don't use AI to write our content because AI will never have common sense like humans do. So it's just not feasible to make good quality content. But I use AI for content ideation plus traditional SEO tools like SEMrush. So what I do is basically whenever I have a new client, I will do the keyword research like normal using SEMrush and looking at competitors, seeing what they're ranking for. And I basically build this big list of root keywords. So for if you're a garage door, like I talked about that client, their root keywords are going to be like garage door for sale, garage door installation, garage door repair. So I'll find that listed root keywords, and then using the root keywords, I'll find semantic keywords. Those are keywords that are semantically related to those keywords, secondary keywords, basically. And using that, plus just knowing about my audience, researching questions the audience might have, I'm able to plug it in and generate basically unlimited content ideas, things that I never would have thought of. And it's using that, and I build like a big spreadsheet. So because due to AI, I can create a spreadsheet of 100 blog topics with keywords, descriptions, and proposed title in a matter of hours, whereas it used to take me weeks to do something like that. And then the tradition, yes, the method of having your audience give suggestions to you, that's always a good one because that's what they want to see. They're directly telling you what they want, so that's a big one. Getting feedback from them. And then another thing I like to do is I like to look at, like I said, the skyscraper method. So I'll find competitors to our client, see what they're talking about, and then we'll do that, but better.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's a multiple things.
When I reference the book, They Ask You Answer, that's a book by Marcus Sheridan. We'll put that in the show notes too. And actually, while we're talking about books, I also want to mention this book that your boss, Elton Mayfield, recently published called Building Better Brands. And Elton, again, has been in the building products marketing business for over 20 years. And this is essential marketing strategies for the construction industry.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend this book.
Yeah. Eldon is he's the founder and president of ER Marketing. He's my boss. He is an amazing person. To be completely honest about it. He's developed this culture at ER to really, really push people to be curious and learn things, even if it's outside of their job description. And because of that culture that he's fostered, that's how I've been able to learn how to do these things. And in return, it's made our clients much more successful, which means more money. So it kind of works for everybody. But that book, it came out a couple weeks ago. Long time coming. He's been talking about it since I've known him. Just came out. You can actually go to our website, brmarketing.net. There's a page for it. You can find it. It's super easy to find. Go on there, check it out for more information. Definitely order it. Highly recommend it.
I do too. I also highly recommend it. So, and Elton is a good friend of mine as well. So, I think he's a great guy. Yeah. So, Koty, Google knows if a website sits there with no new content for a long time, Google's going to be like, they don't even care about their own website. We're not going to send searchers there. So Google really likes to see new content, even if it's the republished content that you're freshening up. So can you talk about that? Like how Google knows that a website has kind of been abandoned or left without anything new?
Yeah. The technical answer to that is metadata on the back end of your website. There's specific fields that say, this page was last modified today or 10 years ago. So there's literally data code on the back end of your website that tells Google that kind of stuff. And I think to really understand that, you kind of have to understand Google itself and the underlying philosophy about why we do what we do and why Google exists. So the harsh reality about Google is that as great as it is and as awesome it is and how much it's changed society for the better, at the end of the day, Google is still a private company, and their main goal above everything else is to make money, just like every other business, right? And they do that by selling ads, Google ads, and by keeping people on and keeping them interacting with Google. So they value above everything else getting information that is helpful and recent as fast as possible to users. Otherwise, if someone can't find that kind of stuff, if they can't find helpful content on Google, they're going to go to Bing and they're going to lose ad revenue. So that is their number one goal. And so because of that, they're going to award websites and businesses that play into Google's business, that help them. And the ones that typically are the ones who are the most helpful and are really playing into are the ones who are most active. It's like social media, YouTube, all these things. Like, you have to really be consistent and be there. You You can't, just appear once a year and do something. You have to be active and you have to be working with it. And Google can see that. There's, like I said, there's data on that. Google also collects its own data on, this page was discovered on this day and it was indexed on this day. So yeah, that's why it's so important to stay there. I think of it as basically like a heartbeat monitor. Google sees if you're publishing consistently, it's going to say, oh, this is a legitimate website. That's one. And they care about what they're doing, and they have good content. They're obviously staying up to date on stuff. They're working for it, and they're gonna prefer those websites over not active websites 9 times out of 10.
I love that analogy, Koty, to a heartbeat monitor, because I have always said that proactive public relations is kind of like a heartbeat. If you're putting out press releases on a regular basis about what's new at your company or your organization, it shows the media that there's something going on and things are happening, and you're newsworthy. And the media might not use every single press release you send to them, but it also is like a reminder, like, oh yeah, that company is out there doing business, or that organization is out there doing their nonprofit work or whatever. It's like a reminder to the media. So the next time a story comes up that's in that industry or on that topic, they're more likely to call you for a comment or a quote. So
Yep. And
social
yeah,
media, being active on that and being active on your blog, it's all the same thing. You've got to be
exactly.
doing it on an ongoing
And
basis.
and all of that is content marketing. That's all
Yeah,
it is. It's all about the rule of 7. I think with today's world, it's probably like the rule of 28 now. But you have to be exposed to a brand 7 times before people care or people do anything
right.
about it. So that's what it is. Every time you put a blog post out, you're expanding your online footprint. And if you're able to put out, if you basically always have 365 blog posts that are less than a year old, meaning you're posting once a day, that means that your footprint is it's wider, it's bigger. That's also why when you go online on Google and look up anything and you go through articles, you'll be pressed to find an article that's older than 5 years old. Because, and like I said, what I'm teaching, talking about today is not some secret formula Google doesn't want you to know about. It's not. This is something that most people, most big companies and big websites and blogs do on a regular basis. That's, for example, that's why I'm such a fan of HubSpot, because every single time I look up something, HubSpot has something related to it. They're everywhere, and they're publishing constantly. They're optimizing their old blog posts constantly. They're very, very active. And then it goes deeper than that, because at the end of the day, all the internet is, it's just a bunch of websites linking to each other. That's all it is. And we in the SEO world, when you get a link from another website, that's called a backlink. And that is essentially a vote from another website. A website is voting for your content, saying, hey, Google, I vote for this website. They got good stuff. This blog post is really good. Google sees that kind of stuff. And if you're being consistent and you've got lots of blog posts out there that are relevant and topical, statistically you're going to be discovered more often, which statistically means you're going to get more traffic, which statistically means you're going to get more backlinks, which statistically means you're going to get more keyword rankings. And it's just it
And also,
exponentially.
if you get a backlink from a really big website, like say the Wall Street Journal, or even Wikipedia is a great big website, if they link to you, it's kind of it. I think of it as like knowing important people. Like if the president of the United States knows you and talks about you, then you're more important. So if a big website links to you, that's going to give you more credibility than some little website that doesn't have any
Exactly.
traffic, right?
Yep. And even if you have no follow and do follow links, the theory is that do follow links are the ones that actually pass authority. No follow links don't pass authority. But the fact of the matter is that a backlink still is still good. A backlink is better than no backlink at all. And humans can still see that. So like you said, New York Times, they give you a backlink, but it's a no follow link. But the fact of the matter that someone, a human being, is able to find your content on New York Times, that demonstrates that you probably know what you're talking about.
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Well, Koty, this has been awesome. I really appreciate all the information you've shared. And do you have anything you want to recommend, like a book that you've read that has been helpful, or do you follow a certain another website or blog or podcast or an app that's been helpful to you?
Yeah, I gotta look it up. So I will say, if you're gonna learn, specifically SEO and that kind of stuff, Search Engine Journal. That's an online publication. Can't go wrong. They're the authority on the whole thing. They know what they're talking about. They're awesome. Just go on Search Engine Journal's website. They've got all sorts of awesome stuff on it. SEMrush, they have a blog, talks about all sorts of awesome stuff too. And then, like I said, HubSpot. HubSpot, they have a blog post for anything related to marketing.
And they also host an annual conference called Inbound. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't gone to that yet?
No, I haven't. No, not yet.
We'll have to talk to Elton about that.
Yeah, we should. But those three websites, those three publications, online, influencers, I guess. Listen to what they're saying. Book wise, I would say learn more about human psychology or content marketing as a whole, so you can get the big picture of things and understand it better and understand why you're doing the things you're doing. And when I started at PR marketing, I was getting to SEO. I actually was wanting to get into affiliate marketing. And there's a book called Evergreen Affiliate Marketing by Nate McAllister. It's on Amazon. Cannot recommend it enough. So what's great about it is it doesn't tell you like, here are the specific tools and the current trends that you have to do to stick with it. What it does, it's the name, Evergreen Affiliate Marketing. So it tells you tips and teaches you things that can be applied 30 years from now. Even though the online world's going to look much different, the stuff that this book talks about is still relevant. Will still be relevant decades from now. So that book is awesome because that's where I really learned that, again, the one thing that will always remain the same is there will always be a demand for information online. How they find that's what's changing every day. But that's why when people say like, oh, SEO is dead, it's dying, maybe like modern SEO or like the old, yeah, of course, but it's the thirst for information will never go away. And that's what me personally and professionally, that's what I'm really wanting to hone in on in my career, is studying how people find information and using that to grow websites organically. So Evergreen Affiliate Marketing. Get it.
Back in the day, some of us had Encyclopedia Britannica sets in our living room. Yeah. That's exactly how we found information.
Exactly. So if you can keep up with that and understand that, this book will give you lots of information on that kind of stuff. That's what's going to keep you ahead of the curve and really help you thrive online.
Great. Well, Koty, thank you so much. If people want to reach out to you, how do they do that?
Look for me on LinkedIn, Koty Potts, KOTY, POTTS, or shoot me an email, kpotts@ermarketing.net.
Okay, yeah. And your name is Koty, KOTY, POTTS. And tell us your email address again.
kpotts@ermarketing.net.
Okay. KPOTTS@ermarketing.net, not
yes.
.com, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right, Koty. Well, I have really enjoyed this. And I don't know, I think there's just something with my PR brain that really resonates about the whole content, about content marketing specifically, but also blogging and refreshing your blog. So I feel like PR people should really pay attention to this. And also a lot of PR people really love writing. And if they could generate a blog post every day, 365 days a year, it's going to help raise the searchability and the Google, what would it be? This SEO impact of your website, right?
Yeah. And again, especially in the PR world, if you can design your blog content to show you, hey, I have more blogs on different topics, fantastic way to demonstrate thought leadership, which goes a long way in the world of PR. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, Koty, thanks a lot. And I appreciate you being here with us today. And I look forward to meeting you in person because you're all the way across the country in Denver. So.
Yep. Mount Denver.
You got good skiing there. I know that.
Yep. It's great.
Well, have a great day, everybody in PR Maven Nation.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the PR Maven podcast.
I invite you to share a review of the podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also join the PR Maven Nation on Facebook. It's free to join, and it's a great community of like-minded individuals who are all looking to learn and grow from one another. If you use an Alexa device, use your Alexa app to search the Skills and Games section to find and enable the PR Maven Podcast Flash Briefing. This will give you access to exclusive content and more PR and marketing advice. Thanks again for listening, and have a great rest of your week, PR Maven Nation.